west of me, and the man hollered, "Whoa now, Etta," in sort of a gurgly roar. I did not want to see or talk to anybody right then, but of course I had to stop and look up at the man. He was big and round-shouldered, sitting there on a board across the low sides of the dump cart. His knees were nearly up to his chin. His overalls were dirty and had a hole in one knee that gray underdrawers showed through. He had squinty blue eyes, a reddish-brown walrus mustache, and had not shaved for at least a week. As I looked around, he spit a mouthful of tobacco juice that just missed my suitcase and plopped into the road dust. "Hot, ain't it?" he said. "Gone to the Four Corners?" It wasn't very hot for June, and I did not know where the Four Corners might be, so I said, "No, sir." "Where you be going?" And he spit again. From the way he had blurted the question at me, I thought he might be the sheriff, and I did not want to get into any more trouble, so I said, "To Mr. Gould's farm." "Tom Gould's?" "Yes, sir." "I'll get in. I'll fetch you a piece." The horse didn't move till the man slapped her with the reins and fished on them a few times. For several minutes he didn't say a word. He just sat there with the reins loose, looking at Etta's rump, his hands resting across his knees. Then, without looking toward me, he asked, "Who be ye?" "Ralph Moody," was all I said. In 2 or 3 minutes more he asked, "Where from?" "Boston." That seemed to interest him. He only waited for Etta to take 3 or 4 steps before he said, "A big place, ain't it?" "Yes, sir." The farther we went, the less I liked to ride with this man. By the time he had asked me about Boston, I was sure he was not the sheriff, but I could not just climb down and start walking again, so I sat and planned how I'd go to Colorado. I only had 80 cents, but that didn't worry me any. It was the beginning of summer, haying time, and I knew I could get plenty of work on the farms. There was no hurry. It wouldn't make any difference if it took me till fall. I would not really be running away. I'd just be going back where everybody liked me and where the sheriff was my friend. Mother would know where I was all the time because I would work as I went and would send her the money as I earned it. I was just wondering how I'd get across the wide rivers, like the Mississippi, when the man beside me asked, "What you going to Tom's for? You kin of his'n?" I did not want to answer any more questions than I had to, so I just said, "To work," and went on thinking about getting across the Mississippi. For the first time since I had climbed onto the cart, the man turned his head and looked at me. "What's Tom paying you?" he asked. "I don't know," was all I said. "Don't know? Heavens to Betsy. Do you know Tom Gould?" No, sir," I told him. I really didn't know Grandfather. Mother had said I had seen him when I was 3, but all I knew about him was from stories I had heard her tell. Besides, it did not seem to me that it would be a good idea to say I was his grandson when I intended to go right on west without even seeing him. The man swung his head away and spit hard as though he'd just tasted something bitter. Then he turned back to me and said, "Well, you will afore the day's out. Ain't a meaner man a-living. Skin a louse for hide and tallow." I was glad I had made up my mind to go back to Colorado. Since I'd probably never see Grandfather anyway, it would not make any difference to me how mean he was, and I wanted to hear what else this man might say about him, so I just said, "Yeah?" "Dang tootin'. So consarned cantankerous there can't nobody get on with him, 'ceptin' that woman of his'n." Then he stopped talking and just sat looking at his rump for a minute or 2. "I didn't know there was a woman," I said. "Mill Durkin, housekeeper. Cussed contrary as old Tom himself. Fight like 2 stray cats in a rain barrel. Has to stay there. Won't nobody else put up with her. Get up now, Etta." Ahead of us, a 3-story brick house came into sight beyond a pine woodlot, and I knew that would be where Grandfather's road turned off. What I was going to do seemed easy enough from there. I would say goodbye to this man at the corner and then walk up the side road.